Hello, everyone who's here, whether you're here live or whether you're catching the replay. I'm seriously so glad you're here. If you're in this room on this call, it means you're already tired of being the holiday default setting for everyone. The planner, the smoother, the emotional shock absorber who carries all the weight. And you want something better this year and moving forward. I'm Dr. Zoe Rapoport, psychologist, leadership and communication coach, professional boundary translator and setter, and a woman who has absolutely been crushed by holiday expectations in the past. I have done too much, I have promised too much, I have agreed to too much, and I made a change a while ago to make my life a lot better for me, for my family, and for everyone else too. Today's session is about making your holidays feel like they belong to you again, not to guilt, not to tradition, and not to other people's reactions. My goal is simple for you. I want you to walk away with clarity about what's draining you, or at least a way to question what's draining you, language you can actually use to set boundaries, and confidence to follow through without spiraling into panic or guilt. Sound good? Great. Let's get into it. The truth is, holidays are the Olympics of people pleasing. If you're a people pleaser, this is your time to shine and your time to drown. Everyone wants something. Everyone expects something. And women, especially women who are competent, get asked first. That's the way we've set it up. That's the way you've agreed to it. And that's what needs to change. If you've ever felt like November to January is a time where you just lose yourself, you don't know where the time goes, you're exhausted, you're not imagining it. This time of year amplifies old family dynamics that you've outgrown, old roles you thought you outgrew but get pulled back into, and pressure to keep the peace. There's a ton of emotional labor that nobody acknowledges and just so much guilt. I'm already hearing about it in my work with people now. The guilt they feel at choosing to do something different than usual, choosing to do something that doesn't drain them. I hear this again and again. I need to take a break from the holidays. There's a reason for that. So today, it's not about blaming yourself at all. It's about breaking the pattern and learning new tools to sustain that change. And recognizing that traditions created before you were born, before you had a say, and before you had a life don't need to stay the same just because they existed. If traditions never changed, we'd be, back in the old times where nothing happened and women weren't allowed to do anything. Traditions served someone. It doesn't mean they serve you. So I want to be really clear. You're not bad at boundaries. You've just been conditioned to not have any. Here are some of the reasons holiday boundaries feel harder than regular boundaries. 1, you've been trained to absorb other people's disappointment and feel responsible for it. Women learn early on, don't upset anybody, keep things smooth, don't rock the boat, be nice, make other people feel comfortable, even if you're not feeling comfortable. Don't make it awkward. I can't tell you how many times this has been said to me. Can't you just not say that this year? Don't upset anyone. Meanwhile, I'm upset. So it's about putting everyone else's comfort before your own. And that's not okay. And that doesn't have to stay the same. So when you even think about saying no, your nervous system is telling you there's danger. Someone's going to be upset. I'm going to get in trouble. But you're not a little kid anymore. And you can change that reaction. In fact, you're here to change that automatic response you've learned. And I can tell you from experience, I've had that response. And I no longer, even if I have that response, it doesn't control me anymore. And it doesn't have to control you. So like we said before, holidays bring up old family roles. You can be a confident adult woman with a career and 2 of her own kids. And somehow at your parents' house, you're 12 again. You don't feel like you can do things without permission. You feel that need to please, the fear of upsetting anyone. It's a huge loss of independence. And it's a completely normal experience and one you can be aware of and change and manage. If you were the fixer, it's easy to fall right back into that role, even if it's been forever since you had that job in your family. It's much easier to be your new self in a new environment or on your own turf, like at home. So going to your parents' home or your childhood home brings a lot of feelings of nostalgia that aren't always positive. It can be confusing and overwhelming, even a little bit surreal. So give yourself grace and try to be aware if you're acting like a different version of yourself. Then remind yourself that it's okay to change. Third reason is that in the holidays, for some reason, people expect you to be endlessly available. And unfortunately, you've unintentionally trained people to come to you first because you say yes. You're helpful, you're competent, you're reliable. You always get things done, even at the sake of your own sanity and health. And of course, they love that. You've made their lives endlessly easier as well, until you change the pattern and say no. Expect that they're not going to love that. It doesn't make it the wrong thing to do. It just takes time and repetition for everyone to adjust to it, including yourself. I have seen women start this pattern of saying no and get better and better at it and let go of the guilt that accompanies it. I've seen it 1,000 times, and you can absolutely do it, but it's uncomfortable for everyone at first. Another thing you've been trained is that guilt equals danger in your brain. But guilt is not a moral compass. It doesn't tell you actually what's right and wrong. It's conditioning. It doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. It means you were raised to feel guilty for saying no or thinking about your own needs. Someone else trained you to feel guilty putting yourself first or even thinking of yourself at all. Guilt is a tool used to control your actions and feelings. Moving past guilt is possible by reminding yourself that you're not hurting anyone by having a boundary or saying, I can't do everything. One less dish or a new way of doing things isn't actually hurting anyone. It may be disappointing, but that's not actually hurting anyone. They're disappointed. You want something different because the status quo isn't working for you anymore. In fact, it probably never was. So question your feelings of guilt. Don't just accept them as truth. It's information to learn about yourself and try something new. Once you understand this, you can stop asking, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And start asking, what do I need? That's where boundaries really start. Asking yourself, what do I need? It's so simple and it's kind. It's not aggressive. It's not rude. It's just being kind to yourself. But before you can set boundaries, we need to know where your energy is actually going. So let's reflect on last year or the last 2 years. What drained you the most? Was it the travel, the hosting, the planning, back-to-back events, emotional labor, family commentary that never stops, about your parenting, about your weight, about your work, about your life choices? Where did that come for you? For me, travel has been something I've cut out pretty heavily because that was so draining and made it so stressful. I would actually rather host. So that's something I've decided to do. What would make it better for you this next year, even this upcoming year, or even in the future? Most women aren't necessarily drained by the actual event. They're drained by the unspoken expectations around it. So try to listen to your body. We were just talking about this. Where did you say yes when your whole body said no? Where did you tense up? Where did you feel that pit in your stomach? Where did you abandon your own needs to keep someone else comfortable? What did you keep quiet on? What did you do that you really didn't want to do? And the next one, what did you resent, but you did it anyway? And that just builds to more resentment, dread. I've been in a situation where I scheduled a procedure to avoid the holidays. It was so stressful. That means I really have to step up and do something. I can't prefer surgery over the holidays. That's just not sustainable. So this is your starting point, okay? If you don't name it, you can't really change it. So I want you to be really truthful with yourself. Next, I want to teach you a 3-step holiday boundary method, okay? Boundaries aren't about being aggressive. They're about being clear. Clarity is kindness for you and everyone else. And here's a simple, repeatable method. Okay, I actually have a visual for this one. Visuals definitely help me remember things, and they help me think about what I want to do, and they help me organize my thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to share this. All right, this is what I want you to do before you respond to any request this holiday season and going forward. Holidays trigger impulsive yesing, right? Your brain wants to get the discomfort over with, so you just say yes because you're uncomfortable saying no. But I want you to stop, and your go-to line is going to be, let me think about that. Let me look at my calendar. This gives you time, space, room for logic instead of panic responding, calm, and it gives you your choice. This one sentence can change everything for you. This one pause can give you room to think. So now I want you to practice. Say it in your head. Let me think about that. Say it out loud. Let me think about that. I'll get back to you. This works in almost any situation, but for now we're talking about the holidays, okay? It feels good, right? Feels like it's giving yourself time to think instead of just react. Next, I want you to get really honest with yourself about what you want. And most women skip this step entirely. When you're asked to do something or when you're planning something, ask yourself first, do you actually want to travel? Do you want to host? Do I have the capacity for what's being asked of me? Do I have the energy? Is there something else that would feel better instead? A boundary is simply you saying your truth out loud. That doesn't feel good to me, or I just can't make that work this year. I can do it another time, or something else. Compromise, again, is something that can really help change the pattern that you've been stuck in. Okay, next is a couple different ways to say no I'm going to give you here. This is a clear, grounded statement, right? It's no justification, no apology. Here's different ways to say no. And I split it up by category because I think that helps. Social and family boundaries, right? When someone asks you to travel, we're not traveling during the holiday weekends anymore. Or we're not going to host this year, or we're keeping things simple. Here's what we're available for emotional and mental load boundaries. Emotional labor. I'm not taking that on this year, or I can't take that on. Overwhelm. That doesn't work for me this year. Overfunctioning. I can't take that on. Here are other options or even other ways I can help. Or here's what I can contribute. Reaction and conflict boundaries. Because they're going to happen. Everyone I work with, everyone I know gets guilt trips. That, again, does not mean you're wrong. For a guilt trip here, when someone expresses, oh, that's disappointing. I really wish you could come this year. I'm going to be so disappointed if you don't come. I hear you. This is still what works best for us. Debating. What if you do this? What if you do this? I'm not available for a debate. Or this isn't really a discussion because I have made my decision. Passive aggression. I'm still not taking that on. They're just ways to produce more guilt in you when you've stopped feeling guilt for taking care of yourself. Personal boundaries. General, no. Oh, that just doesn't work for me. Maybe another time. Capacity. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Alternative. I can't do that. Here's what I can do. Again, a compromise if you do want to participate, because a lot of us do want to participate. We just don't want to be overwhelmed and overstressed. This is a way that you can participate on your own terms. So, and I also really want to normalize that you're going to get pushback. Pushback is just information. It's a starting point. It is not an emergency. You must normalize this for yourself. Someone is going to get annoyed, not because you're wrong, but because you changed the pattern of interaction. They're not used to you saying no. They're not used to you having limits. It is okay. They will get used to it. Okay. You can coach them through it if they get upset. I hear you. This still doesn't work for us. If they guilt trip you, I get that this is disappointing. It still doesn't change our plans. If they pressure you, I'm not able to do that. We're on repeat, like a boundary broken record. I'm not able to do that. I have had to say no to things multiple times. They get over it and it's okay. Again, your job isn't to manage their feelings. It's to manage your energy and try to find some joy in your holiday season. This next one that you saw, a quick one. This is your nervous system reset tool. Super quick, 10 seconds, and you can reset it. I would recommend doing this, I don't know, anywhere between 2 to 4 times is really helpful. It's basically box breathing. You're going to inhale for 4, exhale for 6, relax your jaw. Anywhere you keep tension, I always get it in my shoulders. I clench my jaw, sometimes my eyes. A quick body scan. Where are you stressed? Drop your shoulders, breathe in again, and say the boundary. I can't do that this year. Even just doing it on screen, I'm calmer. Okay, this disconnects the fear from the action and grounds you, brings you back to your body, and helps your brain create a new pathway. So imagine, right? When you set holiday boundaries, everything can change for you. You can have less overstimulation, less resentment, more presence, more joy, not presence in the gift giving, more presence being present in the moment, not thinking about when is this over? What do I have to do? But being actually in the moment, looking at your family, looking at what you've decided to do and enjoying yourself. You're also modeling emotional health for your kids. Setting boundaries is so good for your kids to see and learn from, okay? And most importantly, you stop disappearing during the holidays and you have a holiday that doesn't break you. Imagine that, right? I think that would be amazing for you. I've created some tools for you. It's a holiday boundaries survival guide, which kind of summarizes all of this, gives you these tools to remember. And then I'm working on a boundaries reflection journal. So you can really use that to think through the boundaries you want to set. Think through the guilt you're experiencing, okay? These will walk you through exactly how to plan your boundaries, say them, and stick to them. If you want real support doing this work, and not just during the holidays, but in your relationships, work, leadership, and life, this is what I do with women every day, well over a decade, 15 years now. And if today hits something real for you, let's talk. I offer one-to-one coaching, group programs for women who are done living on autopilot and are really ready to communicate clearly and confidently, assertively, not aggressively, without guilt, without panic, and without shrinking. And if you want to explore whether this work is the right next step for you, book a call. No pressure, just clarity. I want to thank you for watching. You deserve a holiday that feels good to you, not one you have to recover from. And reminder, your boundaries aren't too much. Your needs aren't too much. You're just finally done putting yourself last. Have a beautiful, calmer, saner December. Bye.